Welcome, I'm Terrell. We're going to be here for 2 days. This is the part where we tell you about how it's going at the organizational level. Corey's going to talk about the technology in a few minutes, and then we're going to hear from lots of other people. So you get some cupcakes. Welcome to Barcelona. This is the 18th year we've done this. We didn't have cupcakes the whole time, but we've been running the consortium. The consortium's been running the user group meeting since about 2014. So we've done this for 10, 11, 12 years now. Before that, it was run by the DICE group. And so Regan Moore was our MC. And then I did it for a few years, and now we've got a Corey. So this is great. Here's a list of all the places we've been. The first one was hosted in France. We haven't been back. Maybe soon. We'll see. That's probably news to France. We'll find out. But yeah, we've been kind of bouncing back and forth from the US or North America to Europe. So if you are interested in hosting, please poke us. We're always looking for spaces that are available at little to no cost. That's one of our main concerns. I'll have a slide on that later. We had a couple of years where we were not anywhere except in our computers. You remember those? We're not going to do that again, I hope. Did I just skip a slide? Yeah, I did. Wow. So thank you to our team. This takes a lot of people to make this work. We've got people home. We've got people here. We've got hosts. And of course, catering and sponsors and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you guys, the users. This is an important thing to do. Thank you. Our mission as a consortium is very straightforward. It's been the same since we've started. The most important thing, obviously, is the stewardship of the code, making it better and keeping this thing alive. That's the whole point. We do that by growing the community, telling good stories, and making sure everybody understands how things work. We love to be standard, normal, and boring. That's how you get people who don't trust your stuff to start using your stuff. So Marcus is going to talk about how our journey on that front is going in terms of being using best practices and all of the kind of technical bits that we do, as opposed to just the things that iRODS does specifically ourselves. Obviously, we're here to show value to you guys, and then eventually that sustainability word keeps coming up. That's about money. Yes, the consortium itself is 13 years old. Another cupcake, chocolate for some reason. This one got candles. This is not a cupcake. It wouldn't fit on a cupcake. So the consortium itself, for those of you who haven't been around and didn't know this, was originally started at San Diego Supercomputing Center in 1995 as the storage resource broker. Had 20 years of funding. NSF and NIH eventually said, congratulations, it works. No more money for you. You can go grow some legs or make some money or start a company or something. So we went with the consortium model, but these are the people who were there from the beginning. So iRODS is not a company. We are obviously a group inside of the Renaissance Computing Institute at UNC Chapel Hill. And I do this every year, but there may be new viewers. So generally, we spend our time making the code work, and we learn what new work to do by hearing about problems and struggles and opportunities. And so proofs of concept are how we kind of make our progress. The business model itself is really about membership. We have started to dip our toes a little bit more into working with system integrators, storage vendors, compute vendors. But managed services turns out to be a way that we might be able to make some more money. We are not right now allowed to touch other people's computers. The risk is too high for the university. They won't let us do that. But if we find a partner who's willing to do that, take on the risk, and obviously take some profit, then we can have maybe an L2, L3 support contract for something like that. So if that's interesting, if you have friends, if you have organizations that you already work with, we would love to be a tool in their tool belt and to solve problems with them and then kind of get paid for fixing the bugs that don't exist. That'd be great. Membership slide. Look at all of you. Yay, we're here. There's a couple new faces on here, which is good. Since last year, we've had 18 renewals, 4 new members, which is exciting. I think that's the next slide. Standard stuff here. We had 3 interns last summer. I had a senior team project. Corey's going to talk about that. So that was new. We worked with a university, not quite an internship, but not quite not an internship. And then we actually won part of an NSF subaward this year. So that's new also. That's going to provide us a little bit of funding. This is my new favorite thing because I don't have to do all the paperwork, but I still get the money. So we're going to lean into being a subaward. This is a new idea. We're great. Excited about it. 4 new members. I think 2 are in the room, maybe 3. The National Center for High Performance Computing in Taiwan is a new member. So thank you. This is exciting. This is the supercomputing center for, I guess it's for all of Taiwan, right? It's the only one. It's the biggest one. Leiden University has threatened to join for many years, and here they are. So this is great. We got them. IBM is back. IBM was a member about a decade ago. That was through their power system and their SPSS group. This motivation is coming back from the scale system. So this is on the storage side. So we have a representative in the room, and we're going to talk about that. If you want to have more conversations, that's exciting. And then this came out of nowhere, really. Scripps Research showed up with an idea and a check, and we said, "Ooh, we love that." So this is one of the largest and kind of most renowned scientific research institutes in the world, and they are in La Jolla, California, as well as a couple other places. But very exciting about that. They've got a lot of stuff that they've already used iRODS for, and we didn't know that, and they showed up with cash. So we're excited to have that conversation. Our working groups this year, we actually dissolved 2 of our 3. Last year we had 4 in addition to the technology working group, and we had dissolved 1. So their work is largely done. This is great. This last year was the first time we'd done that. We kind of spun 1 down. This year we decided that 2 had basically done their work. So the authentication working group that spun into the new iRODS authentication scheme. And so that work is going to be talked about in the next set of slides on the technology update. The S3 working group's goal was to provide iRODS as S3 and make sure that we kind of understood all the uses for the S3 plugin. That work has largely been boxed in, and any work that's remaining is captured in issues and have a place to live. And so there's a normal process for that. So we spun those down. The imaging working group still has a lot of work to do. A lot of interest from around the world. Most of that work now is about getting Omero to play well with infinite storage, also known as, say, a virtual file system, like, say, maybe us. And we've agreed that at this time, we are not going to tightly integrate because that's too many moving parts and we have to align too much. So the S3 interface has looked like the way that that's going to work, and it seems to be working. We've got some proofs of concept that are behaving. We're waiting for the OME czar technology to kind of mature and become a little bit more available to more tooling. And then I think a lot of people are going to show up. If we can become a normal and boring backend for Omero, I think we might have a lot more new faces in the room in the next couple of years, which is exciting. Our efforts in the past year as an organization, obviously the technology side, we're going to hear about that. Scaffolding on top of 5. 5 was a big deal. Our first major release number in 11 years happened last year. That's great. Now we're starting to plan for removing of code. It's glorious. And the groundwork for 6 and 7. So we have some roadmaps, and that's going to be spoken about a little bit. We found expanded partnerships with Globus itself, but obviously the Omero environment, the RSpace environment. This is another open source lab notebook LIMS style environment. Dataverse, which is in the preservation space. Again, an interface with them is probably most likely going to be S3. And then Do IT Now is one of our first, I guess it's not official, it's our most friendly possible managed services lead, right? They're our new friends. And then, of course, we're spending more time talking about RINC projects and engagements, and that's how the NSF subaward came about, and working on things to get maybe iRODS running at UNC a bit more integrated. Always a short story. I want it to be longer. Very similar to last year overall, these trends on this screen, but we are here more concerned about hardware costs. Obviously, we've had people come and say, we want to do this, and that's great. And then they say, oh, maybe next year we have money, we can't even spend it because there's no hardware to buy. That hasn't been a problem since I've been doing this. That's new in the last 10, 15 years. But people are still very much, we're hearing from lots of people about local control. They do want, and this is swinging back from, we have a one cloud mandate. We're going to put all of our stuff in the cloud. It's like, well, the cloud became expensive. There's a lot more of it than we thought about. We need to pull this back. So people are worried about control in their space. They're worried about it costing too much. But there's also a lot of flag waving around sovereignty and repatriate. It's hard to say, repatriation of their data to make sure it doesn't leave, or at least it's housed mainly in their own country for a variety of reasons. Obviously, all the robots showing up and having opinions and access rights kind of, it's a change in quantity. It also might be forcing a change in quality of kind of the processes that have to happen. Obviously, compliance is a big thing. And we're also spending a lot of time around standardization. Again, we always want to be the most expected thing in a variety of different formats and domains. Here's our finance slide. Our job is to do this again next year. So this is always how it works. This does require evangelism. We want you guys to help us tell stories and reach out and make the case. From the members themselves, that means that we would like to have you lean on your vendors. We don't really have those relationships necessarily. So if you can make sure that they are aware of iRODS and that compatibility matters to you, then they will eventually hear that and they'll come figure out what it is that we are and then come engage, right? Of course, if they join directly, that's also good. But yes, tell the stories about why being part of this and why this is good matters. That's really important to us, and we get a lot more reputational benefit from you saying it than from me just saying that we're awesome. I mean, I think we're awesome, but it means more if somebody else says it. Next year, I think that we are in a good spot right now. More and more larger companies, more and more of the market, I think, is realizing that this we heard this from the first two from the keynotes, like data management is not just I have a bunch of storage anymore. It used to be, I think, for a lot of people. There are a lot more companies that are using our words, I'm claiming these words, that we've been saying for a decade or so, and they're starting to show up on big glossy boxes when we go to these conferences. Like, oh, you do all this stuff. That's great, but that costs a lot of money. You should come see us, right? I think we're ready for the attention now. I was a little nervous a decade ago that there were bugs that were out there that we knew about. All of our bugs, obviously, that we know about are still in public, but there's not as many of them. And we've fixed the ones that we think are the most egregious, always trying to get that to zero. iRODS 5 is our new base camp. We're never going backwards. We're only going forward. And I think that we're in a really, really good spot to go fast and to make things really nice. And we're going to hear more about that. We are trying to get back on schedule, so you can ask me questions. I'll be here obviously for a couple of days, but please, are there any questions right now? Thank you. Bloom bar. No, it's fine.
Hi. Which impact do you think that the new, let's say, approach with AI and agentic AI has on iRODS or will have in the future?
So we're going to have a talk about that where I say I don't know. And then I'm going to ask you questions like, what do you want to do? How's this going to work? We are seeing a lot more activity. People asking us if we have an AI plan or is there any AI in iRODS? Right now, that makes me very nervous because our job is to write down the bits and then give them back to you the same way you gave them to us. Like, this is statistically your file is not a good answer, as far as I can tell. So we don't really have a plan right now to have any AI code in there, either that's using AI or written by. We can talk about that. We have not yet, as an open source project, been inundated with contributions. We'll call them contributions from the robots. I know that there's a lot of discussion out there in open source land because they're getting either garbage or duplicate or completely untested, like kind of drive-by pull requests. We haven't had that yet. If I say this out loud, maybe it'll start happening. I don't know. But we've been passive observers for the most part of all of this for the last 6 to 8 months. Maybe the wave will hit us soon. Does that answer your question? Okay.
right. We are going to move on to the next
Very good.
talk.
Thank you.